machine as you're in the past. What's happening there, Reject Nation? We're back at it 8 weeks later. You know, Superman and Lois likes to do it for Bizarros in a Bizarro World. Superman and Lois, people, hey, if you can, leave a like. That'd be very much appreciated. What would be very appreciated is if you become a super sexy reject today by checking us out on Patreon. We'll get the full-length watch-along for this show over there, as long with a bunch of our shows. So it's subscribe and click the notification bell. You can notify when our next reaction for SNL is up. And boys at Prepper, you're the real Kent brothers in my mind, and there's more than just you two. All right,
Sarah and,
let's go.
I've had so long to reflect on the last episode. Nice.
How much reverse shit can we do?
The whole episode's backwards. It's Memento Superman. Whoa. So he was like in the between space for a minute.
Raised no crabs together, right?
Flat Earth or square Earth. Nice use of meta backwardsness.
Did he send you? My son?
Healed guys get on. Not exactly.
How did he do that?
If he concentrates really hard.
And the Ally of my world is here as well.
Then it is only a matter of time before she becomes the most powerful being on this planet. It is simply not possible for humans to coexist with beings of that magnitude.
Ooh.
What just happened?
We'll take this with us, all right? Ally Allston knows you're here.
How's that possible?
I'll explain later. We need to get to the farm. It's the safest place to hide out.
He looks so tiny.
The scope of this green screen effect is a little funky.
How do we find her?
My guess is she's still at the DOD.
The DOD.
What's DOD backwards in this world?
It's the best named organization. Palindromes are the key.
You have more strength than my dad, I guess. I assume you met him when he escaped the Earth to be a hero again?
I did, yes.
He's dead, isn't he? Knew he'd fail.
Jeez.
The two of you didn't get along?
Yeah, let's just say that we didn't exactly see eye to eye on some decisions I made.
The eyeliner.
And the earrings.
Did he even mention I existed?
Well, he didn't really have a chance.
Yeah, because he didn't care.
Yes, he did, Jonathan.
Whoa.
He loved you.
Enough! You should have disappeared like I told you to.
Yeah, Lydia Dietz.
It's an interesting structure.
Can we please just try to have one nice night together as a family? You know it doesn't happen often with your dad's schedule.
Whatever. I have to get out there.
Just try to enjoy yourselves.
What a weird-ass episode. The boys.
How about we just get a picture for these guys?
Thank you so much. We're like your biggest fans.
Ah, well, I owe it all to people like you.
What cameo is this?
Looks like Jonathan finally got his powers.
You can finally see what I deal with on a daily basis.
Can you tell us how long you've been able to fly?
There is like a boys quality to this.
Yeah. Superboy joins the 7. So. I have so many feelings.
He does not do that comfortably.
No. It's a full body exercise. He's trying to flex under there.
How did those trucks get in that position?
They were in a truck stunt rally.
It's always about me understanding you. Maybe for once in your life, you should think about how I'm feeling.
It's like the Osbournes.
I was supposed to meet Misty 20 minutes ago.
No, but I'm here now, Jonathan.
Well, it's not always about you, Pops.
So he's like always in his suit.
Yeah, I guess that's just
Warner
how it
Brothers Tower.
was it cubed out too?
Yeah.
It just seems like ever since we've met, you've been trying to find yourself, which is why there's someone I'd like you to meet.
So they're super wealthy, but still live on that farmhouse?
Yeah, they've got an image to uphold, I guess.
Jonathan L.
But he disregarded the Kent name. Oh, whatever.
Fix Jonathan a cup of tea.
Don't tell him anything. He's working for Ally.
Jonathan!
Now, you're gonna tell me where I can find those pendants.
This is such a... This episode is definitely bizarre.
Yeah.
I am just as responsible for what happened as you are. But Jonathan never felt heard or seen, and it turned him into somebody I can hardly recognize.
Damn, Bizarro, you not have your shit under control.
This life, this family, all of it was me!
I will find him!
Aw, dude.
You move, you die.
Project 4377.
Anal? It's Lana backwards.
Right, you are.
Where's 4377?
We never taught you what was really important in life. It's not magazine covers or talk shows or some signature move.
Last chance, Gramps. Tell me right now.
Sorry I wasn't a better mother. I know that I failed you.
Jordan's just there to stand and look mopey.
Everyone stop fighting.
Follow me.
You son of a bitch.
Rose. Oh.
Ooh. Mas.
If you're not gonna join us, then disappear.
There won't be any countries. This would be the end of humanity as we know it.
So how do we get to Ally before that happens?
We can't. But I can.
Oh, God.
Take the pendant, and I'll make it to the other Earth.
You're gonna tell me where I can find those pendants.
Jonathan.
Where are they? Where are the pendants?
Jonathan, stop it!
I don't know!
Where are they?
You're gonna tell me where Anderson is, or you're gonna end up just like my dad.
Right here.
This is... I'm gonna need a minute to process.
My world is fire. And blood. And backwards. This is clearly like a we can only do this for one episode kind of thing.
Where is she?
I want those pendants.
Kryptonian juice.
Take him out! Now, Jonathan! Before they merge!
Oh no. No, it shouldn't.
I don't think that was supposed to be fun.
No. I get...
No!
There's a moment for backwards. I like how it's also Bully Maguire World.
No one's seen her since the DOD was taken over. Please. You need to leave.
How did he understand that?
Thank God Chrissy was quick on her feet.
Luckily, I got to him before Ally's forces did.
Huh, Christy's all right in this world.
Sir, do you know what happened to my dad? He went to your world. What does that mean?
Jordan.
What does that mean?
Jordan. Hey. Afraid your father's dead.
I speak backwards, Jordan.
Okay.
Did you hear that?
That loud stomping above you guys.
That caused that dust to fall out of the ceiling.
Sounds like something's going on.
You mean the thing that just happened outside? Obviously.
Anderson, you were right. Can't let Ally get dependence.
All you have to do is throw him into a fridge.
That's his biggest weakness.
Hard enough to throw into the fridge.
Back in the fridge, John.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Let's get you and those pendants out of here.
They're coming.
Hey.
Don't let her get these.
Put this up your ass.
I said now.
Aww.
Get back to our Earth.
Oh no.
One specifically for Jonathan.
Ooh.
Beat her!
Congrats, Superman. Negrom.
Cool.
This is chaos magic, Wanda.
Oh, not well planned, Anderson.
Rob Zombie's Lords of Smallville.
Now at last, we become whole.
Why did Clark just keep that in his hand?
Got like a pocket or something, bud. Yes. I want to play square pool.
Lois is pregnant.
Are you serious? I'm gonna be an uncle.
You're gonna be an uncle.
I'm gonna be an uncle! The rest of the night, the drinks are on me!
That's not how you afford to pay for a kid.
You got responsibilities now, Unc.
I got a lot of thirsty customers taking you up on your offer. I'm gonna need a credit card.
I promise you I'm good for it.
It's not like I don't know who you are. World's most eligible bachelor.
Don't believe everything you read in Persons magazine. I'm,
Persons.
what was I thinking? Maybe this is a mistake.
Tal, you're just nervous. You and Lana are the happiest couple I know.
They're always in their outfits. Do like the choice that all the lifestyles are different.
Yeah.
She's destroyed my family. Please. Give me your word. Give me your word that you will walk away.
It's complicated. Lana really believes in what she's doing.
Fucking woman, man. It's always the woman. Goddamn Jada Amber shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's always even on this.
Keep Ally
in a
Allston's
reverse
name.
world.
Get out.
Cal.
No.
The birth of Blue Eyes.
What is she becoming?
It's almost as if we didn't think this through, although.
Wow.
Merge with your other self. Find my followers. Prepare for my arrival.
Wowie. Wow. Damn.
I failed my brother once before. Seeing you here reminds me of what I lost.
Tal.
Woo. Wind breath.
Oh, neat. That's a cool effect.
Oh, Soups.
Hey, look. John's home.
It's all coming together.
Why are you here?
Oh boy.
For him.
Let's get this on.
Let's get it started.
Oh, what the fuck?
I know. Gonna have a big old fight at the beginning of the next one. Are we at like the end of the season or something?
Huh?
Are we at the end of the season or something?
No.
Is it like the second to last episode?
No.
Can't be, right?
No. No, it's not.
No.
That'd be stupid.
No, not this episode, but like I feel like are we getting close to the end?
There's only like 10 to 16 episodes, I think, somewhere there.
That seems about right. Okay. All right. I'll calm down.
That was wacky.
That was wild, yes.
It was a wacky ass episode, people.
It was. The whole time, practically, I kept thinking to myself, this is one of those episodes that's either going to be, you know, like a charming left turn or something that really doesn't work. And I feel like it didn't really end up being 100% of either, but I really enjoyed what this episode was doing. I feel like how it did a lot of it, it kept dipping in and out of for me of like sometimes it was really working and then sometimes it was kind of silly. And then it would very erratically kind of move between those two flavors. But I think I liked it though.
Yeah. I'm really like in the middle on it. I'm not the biggest fan of this episode.
It's definitely not the most consistent of the season or anything. Like this feels like, it makes sense because it's Bizarro World to a degree, but it feels like a different show a little bit. Just the sensibility is different.
Yeah, I felt like I watched a lot of information.
Yes.
And I often credit this show on being something that's very emotional. And I'm like, I don't really care about most of, like, I care to like know what's happening, and I was interested in what was happening, and it is weird and disjointed. It feels like they tried to utilize that purposefully, but a lot of it doesn't work for me. A lot of it's very it's strange, and not in the good way I think it ought to be strange. The pacing is off.
Absolutely.
It's a weird paced one, so
it took me a minute to pick up on what was happening too, because like a few minutes into the John flashback, I realized that was a flashback. But like the whole delivery system of like cutting back and forth to the present and then doing these anthology what happened just before now stories. Yes, it was. None of them felt like they were proportioned to each other.
No, I think it was moving. I think it moved way too quick, and they jammed way too much in 40 minutes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This felt like it should have been a couple episodes.
I mean, it's different if like this was a comic. In a weird way, this felt like one of the more comic booky episodes I think we've seen. Mm-hmm. Like if this was a graphic novel or like an issue as part of a series, I would not say that. I'd probably be really into it and really absorb it.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of contextual pieces I really like. I like how it's not just the appearances and some people are swapped. It's like the lifestyles are complete opposite in almost every way. I think the thing that was probably the most confusing to me was the reverse language and when it wasn't reverse language and how some people understood each other. I'm like, wait, I'm having a hard time wrapping my brain around why can they sometimes understand them and apparently they're not, and it's a different language, but it's not a different language. I thought on this planet they just talked in reverse. I'm kind of that's where I was a little lost. But beside that one little point, I think this was like a medley of a lot of things that I think should probably be. It's really gloomy and ominous, and not really ominous. It's really gloomy and dreary, and a constant sense of like a weird, like a apocalyptic on the verge kind of vibe. Yet I didn't feel much of anything. Yeah, it wasn't ever like charmingly strange in a fun way. It had, I don't even know exactly what this kind of felt like a 90s 2000s comic book movie to me, like one of the bad ones.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it is, I mean, it's so much of like, it really feels like they had this really cool, fun idea and only had one episode to do it, so they took their shot, but ultimately that makes it so that it's, mostly just a bunch of info, and then it's like, I would find myself intermittently appreciating choices where I'm like, okay, in this version of the world, everybody is quicker to confrontation and anger or something like that, so that's why you have so much shouting and screaming. But
there didn't seem to be much underneath the surface.
But there didn't really seem, and it started to feel like a soap opera. Like there were times where I would get into this performances, and I would be like, okay, this is a kind of good scene back and forth. But there were other times where I would be like,
they're playing dress up.
They're playing dress up. Well, yeah, and it didn't, and not to, it's hard to assemble big effects for TV shows especially, but this also had the least convincing effects, I think, of any of the Superman and Lois episodes we've watched. And it's, again, like, I really liked what they were trying to do, but I feel like so many of the elements that usually coalesce to make it feel like both a comic but also a really engrossing drama in this make it feel like, some kind of 90s, 2000s comic book movie meets some kind of soap opera that takes place adjacent to the Snyderverse or something. Because I was thinking too, like when they were doing some of the other Kal-El stuff, I was like, it would be kind of intense and scary to be saved by this guy. It feels like, because he's just so on edge.
Yeah, I mean, it was doing that. When I say like 90s, 2000s, and that's like, let's try to be a little edgy, let's go for that, like that emo gothic vibe. But they didn't even really commit to that. Like I felt like that, no pun intended here, I feel like the lane they decided to go down, they weren't committing fully to whichever direction they wanted. Like there's a lot of, like I said, a lot of context pieces I really admire. The idea that Kal-El here doesn't give a shit about a secret identity, and he embraces the L name. He doesn't go by Clark Kent. He goes by Kal-El. This family is L's in the house they live in. He's friends with he's close with his brother, and I like that. Actually, I think out of things that I thought were genuinely good, I liked the scene of them at the bar.
Scene not in their costumes.
And the scene at I thought the wedding scene was good. Yeah. Like I thought their scenes felt the most natural, even when he's breaking down and oh my god, I consistently blank on how to say his name.
Tal-Rho?
Tal-Rho. Yeah, that's right. R-O-O. Tal-Rho. He is
Tal-Rho,
L.
yeah.
Tal-Rho? Is there an L in there? That's my question. Is there a Tal-Rho?
See, I was trying to figure it out here because I've seen it spelled with an H and an L, and in this episode it sounded like they were saying like Tal-Rho with an L.
Okay.
So for today, that's what it'll be.
All right. So with Tal-Rho, their scenes felt the most sincere and genuine, whereas everything else was kind of like a whole bunch of. You see, like with the other characters, take John Henry Irons for example. When you cut to his Earth, you spread that out over the course of multiple episodes. Like you build the mystery of like the specific story they want to tell of a key memory in his life, and then you cut back to it and you unpack it over time. And then here it was just jam packing a whole bunch of things that I don't think fits with this season, other than getting the necessary information. I don't think this flows with the rest of the season at all, and things just came across like unintentionally goofy when they seemed like they were going for edge and weight. Like Jonathan's bad boy Jonathan just came across like whiny teenager, and then Jordan
crybaby.
And then Jordan was just fucking like nothing.
He was just there to be like, guys, stop,
emo boy,
stop fighting, but not even that much dialogue.
I even felt like Lois was playing dress up. I felt like Lana was definitely playing dress up, like especially the actress who plays Lana. I didn't get a sense of history of anyone's performances, and
which is a bummer, because you want to when you're in Bizarro World. Like, I feel like that could have been one of those things where if they'd either spread these flashes either throughout the season, or maybe once we've established Bizarro and had that sort of first act of the season, then you could mix these glimpses in on the other side. Because you have so many things that harmonize with and complement, like Jonathan's turn with XK, and the way that he even offers Clark upon arrival, kryptonite and things like that. And there are so many things in the season about parallels, and I feel like there's so much to play with there. Like like you were saying, the lifestyles are all different, and I was thinking it's kind of interesting to watch Kal-El in this world be this very like stern father who is very much about his family legacy, and he's very about business until it
unlike Clark, he's emotionally closed off.
Yeah, exactly, and like that was interesting and engrossing, and I feel like this episode is frustrating because throughout there were these little glimpses, like when they really got into an interesting character beat or something like that, there were interesting glimpses into how cool this could have been to explore throughout, because it doesn't seem also like it would be that expensive to do more Bizarro World stuff. It seems like it's mostly about costuming and tinting everything red, and having certain backward flourishes. So I feel like they could have made a lot out of that for this season that would be there to serve as further sort of inspections of these characters, rather than here's kind of a cool, what amounts to like a neat side quest where we get to see a bunch of Bizarro versions of people, and we spend like a feverish interlude there, but then we're pretty much going to be back on regular.
This felt like the most CW episode I've ever seen of the show.
Absolutely, totally.
And I think that's one of the main compliments of this show, is it doesn't feel like a CW show, but this really did feel like, because normally with the CW shows, when I was really watching them, my term of late is religiously. When I was really watching them religiously, it was very it's like binge watching. That's how I would do it. I would binge watch them, and if this was part of my binge, I would just move on. Like I wouldn't stop the show. I'd just be like, all right, next episode. And I wouldn't ruminate and go, here's everything I didn't like about this episode. But when we're talking about like week to week, if we're gonna sit back and talk about it, I got a lot of issues with the way this was handled. I don't. At the end of the day, if it's not really emitting an emotion, then it falls weak to me, despite how cool ideas are, and you were doing like, let's try to see as many people in opposite world as you can, and let's even get Anderson's story wrapped up here. Let's try to do it all, when I was like, I think the core of this would have been the tragedy of Kal-El in this world. I think if they just focused on that, if you did like a two-parter episode in some way.
Yeah, and really make the weight of his sacrifice ring.
Yeah, because this was just all over the place, and it had this like fucking Tarantino approach with like cutting between different chapters is always like a cool film school gimmick. Yes. But if not done right, you're just kind of watching shit happen, you know?
Yeah, that's what's so frustrating about this is that it, for me, it's like I really enjoyed the experience of watching this episode, but a good chunk of that enjoyment is ironic or is in spite. It's like my, not in like angry spite, but you know, it's like this is an episode that for me, I'm like, oh, this is aimed at me. Like I wanted something great, and yeah, this as it stands is kind of wacky and underdeveloped.
They fell prey to so many short scenes, but a lot of them and so heavy on exposition, and it pretty much did all the things I've credited Superman and Lois for not doing.
Yeah, and it makes the experience, for as dense as it is and for as fast as you're moving and for as little as you're connecting with everybody, it does make it feel like this sort of weird fever dream interlude. Like I'm curious to see if it'll come back in any way or how the next episode will feel, because it feels like we just like rushed through a highlights reel of stuff, and we like, you know, Anderson is ostensibly just dead now, so you know, in a way, like my favorite moments of his were in this episode, and I'm like, okay, he's dead now, and I feel like that impact is probably going to be blunted by just the episode around it and all the chaos. You know?
You had all the super people there, all the people with the kryptonian powers, right? And other than a couple of moments, I really did not care for it. I don't mean to just shit on this episode. All I can do is be honest.
Yeah.
And I did find myself going, this is weak action, because it's just the flying could be looking cool, some of the collisions, but it's like this same old, it was just like so generic of just like, get them close, right hook, right hook, right hook,
yeah,
right hook, left hook, right hook, left hook. I'm like, there's nothing, it's so repetitive, and I'm like, you got all the people here, and you're
you
not
got this broad power set.
Yeah, this should be, you know, and you got this I was like, okay,
this should be a nightmare.
You're isolating them together, you know, you're isolating them here on the farm, on the ranch.
Yeah.
And I thought this is when you could probably do one of your, like a really cool fight that can make this all worth it. And they didn't. It really is just like get close, right hook. That was the fighting.
It felt like they didn't really have much time. Like knowing how the show is, I give the benefit of the doubt of like it feels like they had no time to make this or something, because just everything, like even just the green screening of the action and some of the flight does just look awkward. And usually they do an exceptional job, I think, of making that stuff look cool and impactful. And I think the physics too in this episode sort of suffer, and part of you, I think, can go, well, it's Bizarro World, physics are different, but at the same time it started to feel too ragdoll and too much like, you know, when he throws him into that car and the car just like shoots over there, and something feels sort of artificial. It just adds to that feeling of it being artificial rather than it feeling like you've stepped into sort of a heightened comic world.
This is not I really don't think this is a nitpick, and we gotta wrap this up. I really don't think this is a nitpick. When Anderson throws him into the fridge,
yeah,
the fact that it knocked him out completely, that's honestly when I feel like this episode lost me. Because I was already like kind of losing it a little bit, you know, despite liking some concepts, especially this whole thing with like monetize Kal-El. When he gets knocked into the fridge, I'm like, if you're gonna knock this guy out, he wouldn't land in a fridge. He would be like in the fridge, flying through the walls, stumbling.
Yeah, it would have to be like through the field.
It has to be like such a hard throw.
No, dude.
To knock him out.
Same one Indiana Jones survived the nuclear blasting.
It's not. It just suddenly like what? There's no way that would have knocked him out unless I completely missed something. There's no way that would have knocked him out.
Yeah, that's a good point. Unless it was like some kind of super crazy ass lead fridge.
Yeah.
Last question. Did it ever feel to you like they did some of the Bizarro performances and or dialogue like literally with the actors speaking backwards only to then play it forwards? Because I feel like there were times where it really sounded like certain people's dialogue had been recorded that way, but I
probably.
Like, it's stuff like that I think is really cool and that I wish could shine in an episode like this. Like, there's so much I want to love about this, and there's so much it
Nah, I felt like it rang really flat, and I always come back to just how do I feel when it's done.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's unfortunate, but I'm sure a lot of people love it, and you guys will bitch at us in the comments. Go for it, yell at us, tell us how we're wrong. But we'll tune in next week. I want to see what happens next week.
Oh yeah.
I feel like it'll land with Jonathan getting power somehow.
I'm still super invested. It just feels like this episode was supposed to be very important because Ally's plan comes to fruition.
It's not exactly like a failed backdoor pilot. You know,
it feels like that episode of Stranger Things.
It's or like any show that does a backdoor pilot. It's definitely not a backdoor pilot like 100%. But it's the feeling I'm left with is akin to that.
Yeah, that's a good way to put that. Yeah.
Where you're like, I don't really like this.
This isn't as good as what I've been watching.
It feels like a different show, and it's doing things in a show I don't like.
Yeah. Did you replace everybody just for this episode? Is this the crew who's going to be making the spinoff?
Yeah, and I think stylistically they didn't stylistically do much different to it, and that other than like tinting it up and
really putting that red filter on.
Yeah. All right, guys, we'll leave your thoughts down below. Thanks for being here.